everyone, welcome back to Storybaggers. Today we will be reading Chapter 9. On with the story. Let's rewind our story to the events of the previous evening. After the drama of his bean heist and subsequent headlong dash for the Horrocum Heights, Boo was just about done in. It hadn't taken long to shake off the enraged little fruit fuzzy who had tried to catch him, and by the time dawn was breaking, Boo had reached the welcome shadows of the heights. He fluttered into the familiar gloom, exhausted but with his heart thrumming. His way to impress Old Batwings was in the bag, quite literally. Boo raised a tired claw to take a look at the beans that he had managed to snatch mid-swoop from the old man's outstretched palm. They didn't look very magical now. They were hardly glowing at all. They hung there in his little netting bag, limp, pathetic. The end of a story. Unable to keep a cork in his delight any more, the little vampire bat threw his head back and crowed to the dawn. The sound echoed back at him, spiralling from the black tunnel that led down, 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 until it opened out into the ancient vastness of Cathedral Cavern. He could not have been more pleased with himself. He, Boo, had managed to trap and stop a happy ending in its tracks. He had snuffed out a story spark while it was playing out. It didn't get any better than that. Old Batwings was going to be so pleased. As it happened, it was impossible to tell what Old Batwings was feeling at that moment, because when Boo flew into the cavern, the old bat's back was hunched away from him. It took a moment for Boo to register that the evil mastermind was scrabbling with one claw against the stone floor, trying to spear a beetle that had scuttled out from under the old bat chair. When Old Batwings finally swung round, Boo was treated to a glimpse of wriggling legs as they disappeared into the old bat gob. Yum. What? Rather afraid that he might have said that out loud, Boo scrambled to save himself. Ahem! I said, ahem, I've bought you beans! And he thrust the little netting bag out for inspection. Old Batwing's expression was chilly as penguin poop on a popsicle. He looked from Boo to the bag. Which beans? Cold. Which what? Whose beans? Getting frosty. Whose which? Beans, boy, beans! Which beans? Warmer, but not in a good way. The boys' beans! I bagged them! The cracks as Old Batwing stretched out his stiff wings were like popcorn in a pan, but not nearly as appetizing. His wings were tatty and massive. It was surprising how much of them there was folded away out of sight like mouldy garden awnings. Manky and massive. Enormous, in fact. And slightly whiffy. He hooked a single talon into the bag and pulled it in for a closer look. Not having had time to disengage, Boo came with it. A nasty smile started at one corner of Old Batwing's mouth. It took a second for Boo to realise that he wasn't just baring his teeth. The old devil was actually grinning. It wasn't pretty. It was a bit like looking into the insides of a mashed tomato. I do believe you've done it, little Pooh. Boo, sir, it's Boo. Whatever. You've bagged your first story. Look at the glow on those beans as they fade, losing their story magic. As the story glow dimmed, the sheen of malice in Old Batwing's ancient eyes gleamed more brightly. There's nothing more delicious. You're watching a story die, young Prue. Enjoy your moment. Boo, sir! No point in trying to frighten me, you young rascal. I'm past scaring, and Old Batwings lunged at Boo, who didn't have time to duck out of the way. Ow! The force of Old Batwing's slap almost knocked the young bat to the ground. He was pretty sure he had felt his teeth move sideways in his gums. Boo ran his tongue around his mouth to feel if they were still hanging in there where they were supposed to be. Old Batwing saw him licking his lips. Hungry boy. Hungry for more. That's the spirit. That's the kind of nasty determination I like to see in my bats. Hunt them down, boy. Squash them, split them, splat them, squish them. Don't give up until every last story is dead. On the word dead, Old Batwings, who had raised himself briefly on his elbows in his rising excitement, plumped down hard into the old bat chair, expelling a gust of foul air from the old bat cushion. Boo's soft head fur was momentarily flattened, but he had the presence of mind to snap his mouth shut and keep his lips sealed to stop himself from inhaling. No one needed that. He held his breath as Old Batwings called out to the darkness. Take it away and string it up. A beefy bat bounded across the ceiling, mouth breathing with every lollop. It grabbed the dangling bag from a much-relieved Boo, who had wondered for a split second if Old Batwings had been referring to stringing him up. Beefy Bat and Bag disappeared down the hot, inky tunnel that led away from behind the old bat chair. Boo didn't know where that tunnel went, and he didn't want to. It was Old Batwing's private rubbish chute. At this moment, all he wanted to do was get out of Cathedral Cavern without being slapped on the back in congratulations again. Job done. Boo actually had no idea what happened to happy endings. He had never once stopped to consider it. Disposal was something that the Beefy Bats did. His work was done for now. He picked up a new story bag from the doorkeeper on his way out, and folded it smartly into his waistcoat pocket, ready for the next night. Hunting stories was the best, but right now Boo was keen to start hunting something with a pulse. He hadn't eaten for a while, and he was starving. Boo licked his lips. Somewhere out there was a warm little creature that he would very much like to invite for breakfast. Unusually for him, breakfast was the furthest thing from Vesper's mind. After leaving Dr. Kumori in the old oak, the two friends had flitted back to the scene of the previous day's failure. But something was amiss with Vesper. He was not his usual cheery self. He groaned softly, and Bobble looked at his wingman with concern. "What's the matter, Vesper?"
"I dunno. Got a sore tummy. I'm a bit windy, Bobble. I think I'm going to have to excuse myself for a moment."
Bobble turned delicately away as his friend hung himself up under the roof of Jack's cottage in order to relieve himself. They had fluttered wonkily back down Pie Cross Lane to see if there was anything left of the story to save. Not much of a hope, but they were at a dead end. There was a small explosive sound, and Bobble winced as Vesper pooped down the window frame and onto the ground below. Bat poop is quite acidic, what with all that fruit and everything. Not much good for gardens, but first rate at taking paint off. Bobble reflected that the boy's mother would probably want to wash that off before too long. She wouldn't be too happy about it, but at least she still had her 2 cows.
"That's better. Hey, would you look at that?"
Seriously?
"I mean it, Bobble. Take a look. It wasn't a bee. It was a bean. A bumble bean.
What are you talking about?"
That thing I swallowed. Yesterday. I told you. Well, I tried to tell you, but you were in such a flap that I couldn't catch you. I thought it was a bee. Popped right into my mouth, and I swallowed it. But it wasn't. It was a bean. No wonder I had a tummy ache. We're not supposed to eat beans, are we? Went right through me. Caw.
Little lights were popping on and off in Bobble's brain. One of the beans.
Must be. Can't think of any other flying vegetables in Pie Crust Lane. Can you?
But that's fantastic!
You wouldn't say that from where I'm hanging, mate.
But it is. Just think about it, Vesper. What was the boy supposed to have done with the bean when he got it home?
Give it to his mum?
Who does what?
Gets a bit cross?
Yes?
This is hard, Bobble. Okay. She's supposed to chuck it out of the window, and then it grows into a big stalk, stretching all the way up into the clouds.
You got it. And you just bypassed all that and planted it yourself. Vesper, you're a genius. Vesper puffed his chest out.
Not me, it was Big V.
In tomorrow's Storybaggers, Jack and the Beanstalk is saved, and we learn the names of some other stories that have been bagged and forgotten. Till then, stay safe everyone, stay inside, and good night.